good news. It's going to be fine and sunny again today and becoming warm or very warm this afternoon with temperatures up to around 21 degrees. The light winds will settle to a moderate northwesterly in places later. Tonight will remain dry and clear, with tomorrow another dry and mostly sunny day. However, the north or northwest winds will be noticeable, these becoming fresh to strong in places later on Monday and making it feel cooler. Maximum temperatures around 18 or 19. The outlook dry with sunny spells again on Tuesday and the same throughout the daytime on Wednesday, but then some rain overnight into Thursday. And let's hear that in Manx now with our guest this morning, Staffan Overgaard.
An Hampshire Jew, brau as greenach rish you at Jedoonee blane fairlish temporalis moon as the giranus nanes 4 Celsius. Higi geishin fair veine huar uns bulne samne. Noch bi as shirum as nu vodlach as bi shirum as greenach son kusmu merach. Hi geinichen eure wen tu as scher hu as kinderischen bi as genechtin nusse färe. Le ons bul redne geachtin chet de vei leer. Temporalis mu hoch j no j Celsius. On riet. Shirum lesh shellen greenach resh, je murtes Ukraine, feon lay, ach heig part le leg foot de hoy dus Jedoonee.
10 is Moghrey. Good morning to you. It is Moghrey Jedoonee. It means Sunday morning in the Manx language. And our guest this morning, Staffan Overgaard. Moghrey to you, Gustau.
Tamme bra, sus.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent to have you on the programme. Phil has recommended you to come in because I think your journey to the Manx language has been quite an extraordinary one, I suppose, because coming from the Scandinavian side of things, where there's lots of different languages around you, to come and live here on the Isle of Man.
Yeah, that's true. And the Manx language is totally different from any other languages I know. And I was reading the weather, and I think I introduced a few new pronunciations, so I'm sorry about that, guys out there. But it's brau as greenach, that's good and sunny. I think that should be that we should remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good happy thought.
Yeah, it is a good happy thought. That's absolutely sure.
But how long on the Isle of Man now, Staffan?
We came here as a tourist 2010, and we liked the island after 3 days. And then the year after 2011, we bought a house and thought we could be kind of coming and going, whatever. And then we sold our houses in Sweden, and then we moved everything. We took everything with us. 2 vans, we 2 loads of vans. We went back and forth,
yes. And
then we took the car. And we had a trailer with a sauna on it that we went through Europe with.
The Volvo, was it?
No, it's not. No, it was a Japanese Mazda.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, but the sauna was at least Swedish.
Yes.
Which we do have in Port Erin at the moment.
Yeah. Was it sunny the first time you visited, though?
Yeah, of course it was.
Awesome.
No, yeah, it was. We stayed in Colberry and it was a little bit rain as well. But yeah, I mean, rain or whatever, we have to have rain. It's been too dry now, really. I've been watering my garden for, every day now.
Yeah?
So we need rain.
Yeah.
Even though the sun is nice.
You come from an engineering background, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm an engineer. I'm not supposed to do languages. That's not what engineers do. They are doing numbers and not, should we say, letters. But I've been forced to learn a few languages. But anyhow, I'm doing, should we say, engineering. I'm should we say, having a software engineering company that we sell software in the world. We have an office in USA and one in Singapore and one in Europe. And we do a development in India, as many other companies do.
Yeah, right. So it's quite a global setup, really. That I suppose you're dealing with people with a lot of different languages as well.
Yeah, you realize that English is not only English. I mean, when I'm speaking to my colleagues in India, in Bangalore, they have their English, and I have my English, and you have yours, and so I think I'm a little bit sorry about the Englishmen because we are kind of treating the language not in a very good way, really.
No. No, because and I suppose one of the English, I suppose I'm not classing the Isle of Man, but I suppose we're part of it in some respect, that we're quite ignorant to other countries' languages in a way, aren't we?
I don't know really.
You know, a lot of people will go to foreign countries and expect to see the English football on the telly, expect them to speak English to them. You know,
I think there is a disadvantage for English-speaking persons because when they're arriving in a country and supposed to learn whatever language, it's very easy to go and do, should we say, the simplest way to go and speak English. And probably, should we say, if you're in the Czech Republic, just take one country of many, then I would guess they want to speak English with you because they want to practice their English.
In Prague, you go to Prague, beautiful city. It's a lot of people will speak English because, of course, there's an influx of different people around the world, and I suppose a lot of people will know a little bit of English. You go out into the sticks, nobody speaks any, so you have to know a little bit to get by, which is true. Nice in a way.
Yeah.
It keeps it. It's okay. Max Radio's Moghrey Jedoonee, our guest this morning, Staffan Overgaard, and you've come a long way then on particularly the Manx language in 7 years, whatever it is.
No, I just started 3 years ago, really.
Is it?
Yeah. I realized that I should. I mean, I think it's good manners to learn the language in the country where you're staying or moving to. So I called Aidan Kane, or actually I was looking for, should say, who's doing the languages. Then I found out a language officer, and Adrian Kane, and he said, I called him up and he said, we do have a course starting on Thursday here, but it's kind of fully booked, but you can always come. It's in my house.
You can't get much more dedication than that.
No, that's the dedication. Yeah. And we still have that Thursday, should we say, conversations after 3 years, so it's not been able to get rid of me so far. And then I taken a GCSE at the Manx College, and then I have lunches. We speak and we speak the Manx Gaelic, and we go to pubs. We have meetings and so on. So we try to pick it up. It's not usually like a normal language where you just can go out in society and speak to the baker or whatever person. Here you have to find, should we say, the ones who speak the language so you can speak it.
You know what you're going to get now? Eh? What are you on about?
Yeah.
But was it easier that, obviously, coming from Sweden, you had to learn English first, or was that brought up with you when you were young?
It was brought up with me when I was, I think, 7 or 10 or something. I think 10 years old. We had English in school. So, I mean, it's a major language. You have to learn it. But I will say that English is a very difficult language. It doesn't spell as you say it, and it's kind of awful in a way. I mean, if you manage to master English, then I think Manx Gaelic will be no problem for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of the things with like night and sore and
it is not a simple language, really. No.
But the manners side of it that got you in. But it wasn't just the language you've been interested in. You're members of the Russian Heritage Trust, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure he's a member of the Russian Heritage Trust and also sharing one of the groups. And we're at the moment working with a book of Port St. Mary. And that will be launched in about 10, 11 months from now on. And we have the different persons have different topics, and they're chosen it by their own interest. I've taken place names, because I think that's interesting to me. I'm going through all the street names in Port St. Mary, and I've found about 60, and I will try to describe them. I mean, what is Gelling's Avenue? Who was Gelling, and so on. Yeah. And it's one lady taking care of the education, and there's one of about the school, about the churches and whatever, farming and so on. And that will be a book in the next year.
Yeah, well, of course, me and Phil, the last couple of weeks, with it being the TT fortnight, went through the whole of the TT course, naming the different areas, and what they meant in English compared to what they say in Manx, and it was fascinating, and it is a good way to learn the simple, even to get a pronunciation of certain words, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and you don't really know if the Manx name came first or the English name. I mean, Gelling's Avenue, that was the name from Gelling on
the ironmonger, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's great. And then the 19th century, so that was probably coming directly from the English, I would guess.
Okay, we're going to be talking a bit of music and everything because we've got our 2 Manx tracks to play throughout the morning as well. Also, different words, what fascinating words that, or your favourite words are in Manx. The writing side of it maybe as well, how difficult that seems compared to the speaking part. So we've got plenty to get through between now and 12 here on Manx Radio's Moghrey Jedoonee, live from the studios here on Douglas Head in the beautiful, sunny and warm Isle of Man. Let's update you on the weather forecast in English and in Manx, and then I'll give you the duty chemist rota for today. It's going to be fine and sunny again today and becoming warm or very warm, with afternoon temperatures up to around 21 degrees today. The light winds will settle to a moderate northwesterly in places later. Tonight will remain dry and clear, with tomorrow another dry and mostly sunny day. However, the north or northwest wind will be noticeable, these becoming fresh to strong in places later and making it feel cooler, with a maximum temperature of 18 or 19 degrees. Let's have that in Manx now with Staffan.
Nemsjeju, brouwers greenach resju as shetuvei blane 4 vlalish temperatures moon unaste gir gus nanes 4 Celsius. Higne keien fasen weine hoe uns boelene sanme. Nog bi a schirm as nu vogelach as bi a schirm as greenach son in kusmu merach. Hig gegen ore wein toe as een share hoe as kindachrish shen bi a ginachtin sfere. Lei uns boel radne gegen chette wei leer. Temperatuur mu hoog jij no jeg Celsius.
Okay, the duty chemist rota for the Isle of Man. Not got a full up-to-date list at the moment, but we'll tell you that in Ramsey, the duty chemist rota will be Lloyd's Pharmacy in ShopRite on Barring Road, which is open now until 2 o'clock. Douglas, there's a choice of 2, as always. Lloyd's Pharmacy, ShopRite, Victoria Road, open now until 2 o'clock. And Boots the Chemist, you can go to either, which is 14 to 22 Strand Street in Douglas, which is open now until 4:30 today. In the south of the island, it's Clear Pharmacy, Darnell's Complex, Station Road in Port Erin. That's open 12 midday till 1 p.m. And Peel and the west, it's going to be Cowley Pharmacy, 8 to 10 Athol Place in Peel, which is also open from 12 noon until 1 p.m.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
There we are. There's the weather and the duty chemist rotas for today. And Staffan got an email in or a text. Moramai, so it's good Manx there. How do I say in Manx to guests Joseph and Emmys from Transylvania have a safe journey home? Thanks from Andrew.
Yeah, probably I would say that in Romanian, perhaps, but I think, you can probably make it very complicated. But how about you say "golmai," go well, or something like that? If you're driving, perhaps "giman mai," drive well, or something like that.
Another one, if they're obviously sailing away on the boat, "care vai" is another good one. Fair winds, or good sailing.
Yeah, that's a good.
One the fishermen used to use, I think, as well. Who was blessed with the care vai for the fair winds when they're out fishing, which is nice. Yeah, thank you for your contribution to the programme this morning. And what fascinated you with it then? What was the hardest bit for you, or did it come reasonably easy learning the Manx stuff.
No,
because,
it was. I mean, learning a language. That's like learning to swim.
yeah.
And it's not very fun from the start because you're half drowning. And my problem was to pronounce it. I mean, how do you pronounce a word with 5 vowels that comes in a row? I mean, where does it start? Where does it end? So pronunciation was a tough part. And also, should we say that there are so much difference with other languages which I know, like Swedish. It doesn't make any. It's so much difference. So, but I would say first pronunciation, second spelling, and then should we say whatever comes late, number third point. That will be, yeah.
Yeah, do you write any? Because I know a lot of people who have learnt the Manx language don't really write much of it.
I've started without you saying that I should not write Manx because I think it was too complicated spelling. But then I realized after a while now, after 3 years, that it's not that bad writing it. It's become easier. So I think you just should go for it, and then you should take the obstacles when it comes, and then suddenly you're fine with it. But normally, when the language I've learned before is that you normally learn it. You can understand it when you hear it first, and then you can speak it. But here it's kind of the opposite, because it's kind of difficult to understand it. I mean, I read the weather forecast here, and a few things I didn't understand at all, but I read it anyhow.
Yeah.
But I mean, Brau and Greenach, that's good for me.
Yeah,
Good and sunny.
Yeah. It is a strange one, and I must admit, because let's hear you, yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yes sir.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it's funny because when you hear the difference, even between the north parts of the island and the Douglas area, there's a different twang between the old sort of Manx farm and background people and the town people in a way.
Yeah, I think perhaps they never mixed so much really. So it has been possibilities to have 2 dialects of the language. I mean, there were dialects anywhere, so why not here?
Yeah. Are the Swedish people in general quite good to learn other languages?
We are forced to do that because not that many people speak Swedish really. So we have to speak, should we say, English and then perhaps German or French or something like that. So I started out in school with learning Swedish, of course, and then my parents moved to South America, and then they put me after 3 months in a Spanish-speaking school,
Really?
which was quite hard because I didn't understand what they were talking about.
Well, they speak like machine guns, don't they?
Yeah. yeah, very quick, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and how long did you spend in the Spanish?
Oh,
learning the
that was about 1.5, 2 years.
Yeah.
When I was from 7 to 8 to 9 years of age.
Yeah. So you still get by with a bit of Spanish too.
Yeah, but when I came back, actually, I spoke a language which no one else spoke. So I was kind of quiet in Spanish for 10 years. So I lost it. But then we moved back to Argentina for half a year, and it was kind of seeing an old friend again. But you didn't remember, should we say, the name of the person. So it was, should we say, hidden in my brain somewhere.
Yeah.
And it came back, should we say, after perhaps 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
That was amazing, because it's something that you found that you never thought you had.
Yeah. And it was there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like recalling a big important quiz question, isn't it? When you're
Yeah,
a quiz?
that's right.
How did you know that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's true,
Very
yeah.
good. All right, fascinating stuff. We're here for another hour and a quarter yet this morning on Jedoonee, and we got the first of our Manx tracks. You do look like a little bit of Manx cultural music, don't you, Staffan?
Yeah. Ruth Keegan is very nice. She's a good singer, and Barul they play good as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not really good, should we say, mentioning names and picking up different kind. I like it when I hear it. That's my motto.
Well, I'm going to play this one first this morning. McClear, this is.
Yeah, I heard about them.
Yeah, Tom Collister, who was in them, and Barul as well. And just because of the journey home for Josef and Elise from Transylvania, this song is called Fair Wind.
Oh, that's strange, isn't it? Have you picked it yourself, or?
Just picked it now, though.
Yeah, it's good.
It wasn't a coincidence.
Oh, it's a clever you.
So let's listen to McClear and Fair Wind or Caervai. There we go, the first of our Manx tracks this morning, Fair Wind or Caervai in Manx, and that's from McClear. And just lucky that's all coming together nicely.
Yeah,
isn't it?
they're very nice. They're good.
Yeah. But coming over, I mean, does it feel a little bit unique to you? That, you've come from Sweden, you've been different places in the world, you made your home in the Isle of Man, and thought it necessary in a way to probably learn some Manx, did you?
Yeah, I think it was necessary because, as I said, good manners to learn it, and also, should we say, to be able to pick up the culture. I think you need to know the language of the country, and as well, I think, should we say, there are other things like it's very nice to know a little bit more than just to say Moghrey or Fasumai. I mean, when I came to the island, I didn't know very much. I didn't know anything really. I remember, should we say, you used to say "Shu Radio Vanin." This is Radio Vanin, and I thought, you were sponsored by Shure, the mobile telephone company.
And there is Manx Telecom as well.
Yeah, there is Manx Telecom as well. Yeah, that's for sure. And I should say, after a while, I learned with Moghrey, Fasumai, but I mixed them up. I didn't know that Moghrey was in the morning and so on. So my knowledge was very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was a good idea to pick it up. And it's also good to, I think, it's good for your memory to learn another language. I mean, my mother is 92 and she's learning Spanish.
Really?
Or actually taking up, because she had Spanish, as I told you before, that we were living in South America. But she having Spanish lessons.
Really?
Yeah.
Just to keep the brain active?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's a good thing, though,
yeah.
isn't it? It is. And there is, we're lucky that we've got quite a few, chosen few, that are so encouraged encourageable for people to learn the language. Adrian Kane, Brian Stoll's been another really great ambassador, and there is just that few that really want people to learn it. They give up a lot of their time, don't they?
Yeah, there are quite a few people, should we say, who are very good at language. They've perhaps spoken it for, 20, 30, 40 years, and so there's a lot of good people who speaks good Manx out there.
Okay, we're going to leave it there for the time being. We've got lots to talk about in the second hour of the programme. Obviously, your involvement with the Isle of Man in different areas, in the trusts and the woodland trusts as well. And, to do with the language, we'll get you to read some more Manx as well throughout the morning as well, just to give you a test, and they can fill out this exam paper that I've brought with me as well.
Oh, you have exam paper for me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
I didn't tell you about that one.
No.
Fine and sunny again today, and becoming warm or very warm, with afternoon temperatures today up as far as 21 degrees Celsius. The light winds will settle to a moderate northwesterly in places later. Tonight will remain dry and clear, with tomorrow another dry and mostly sunny day. However, the north or northwest winds will become fresh to strong in places later, making it feel cooler, with a maximum temperature 18 or 19. The outlook, dry with sunny spells again on Tuesday and throughout the day on Wednesday, but then some rain overnight into Thursday. Let's hear the weather in Manx now with our guest on Moghrey Jedoonee this morning, Staffan Overgaard.
An Amsterdam, Brouwers Greenach Rish U Chetway Blane Vlalish Temperelis Moon Aster Giren Gus Nanes 4 Celsius. Hige Gegen Fes Weiner Hue ons boelende Sanme. Nog bij Sherum as nu Vodjelach as bij Sherum as Greenach Sonnenkus Mu Merach. Hige ore wij tuan scher hoe as Kinnekrish shen bij as Genekten Sfere. Leons boel rad nu gechten shet de wij leer. Temperelis mu hoch jeno jeg Celsius. Red? Shirum le shalom grinach rish yemot as gilekrein. Feun le ach hig part de le fudne hu gus Jedoonee.
Moramighty. Good morning. Welcome along to the second hour of Jedoonee here on Manx Radio with myself, Simon Clarke, and my guest this morning, Staffan Overgaard, originally from Sweden, made his home here in the Isle of Man. And we could be related, Staffan, with that Viking connection.
We could, perhaps, yeah. Why not? I mean, there have been, should we say, studies done, and there's still studies done on the DNA part here on the island, as well in the Scandinavian countries.
Yes.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I read about there were 3 Norwegian guys going to the island to take DNA tests. And I called them or emailed them or whatever, and then we met up for a day, and then I took them around the island, and we made, should we say, I made a Viking tour. So we did the different things here. And at the same time, they took DNA tests of people who wanted to try the DNA.
Yeah.
So I remember we were in Jedoonee, in the Jedoonee church, and we took a DNA test in the church.
Oh, you were close to my house.
Yeah.
Yes, Golmalestal. And that's sort of a well-known thing that gets portrayed, doesn't it, with the Viking side of things and the traditions we have. But I suppose the Celtic side of it, does that get pushed enough?
I was very surprised about it, but I didn't know very much when I came here, and I realized that the Vikings it was very important for the Isle of Man, and I understand now with the history and Tynwald and everything. But in a way, I think, should we say, Isle of Man is missing out, should we say, on the Celtic part. I mean, what's Celtic for me right now, that's music and design, similar to the Archibald Knox design. But there's must be so much else. I mean, there are a lot of, should we say, Viking activities going around in Europe. They're so popular, and there are TV series and so on. But I think, should we say, if we can get on to the Celtic, on the Celtic side, I think it could be worthwhile, really.
Maybe it's more exciting for people to dress up as Vikings. Maybe they feel a bit more like warriors.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unique to be a small green island, a Celtic small green island, instead, should we say, of having just a Viking place. I mean, I think it could be done so much more if we really want to go down that road. And I saw that, should we say, that very nice film, that extraordinary story you have probably seen just on YouTube, the new tourist film, and with that very nice voice of that actor, but they don't mention Celtic or the Celticness at all. I think that's too bad, because I think that's a valuable asset.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many traditions whether we could find more to celebrate, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we have Bolden, which has started. Kathy Kluka started with activities in Peel. And I think also, should say, there is a lot of bank holidays. And I mean, I don't think we should care about the banks. I mean, there was a bank holiday on Monday, and then on Saturday there was a celebration of the Bolden. And I think it's better to have if you could put the Bolden Festival on a bank holiday instead, and call it Bolden.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. It's a lot. Most would sort of connect that with all sorts. And the Bolden, of course, where they light the fires, which is quite traditionally Viking side of things, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we do have the same in Sweden, really, and at the same day. And we have
same day.
Yeah. And it's a public holiday.
Yeah.
And we don't call it Bolden, we call it the Valborgsmäss.
Right.
And you have the same in Germany as well, and the Baltic states. So it's not that far off, really.
Yeah. All dress up and light the fires.
Yeah, there's the big fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose one thing that sticks in my mind as a youngster was the sailing of Odin's Raven, which obviously they rowed the boat from Norway. To the Isle of Man, and it's in Millennium Year 1979, and it sticks in my mind that marvellous feat that them people did to celebrate that, and then that was sort of, I don't know if it's ever been done since, really.
I don't think so.
No. You know, and it's maybe something that should, be kept up every so many years or something like that.
I think a lot of 1,000 years anniversaries they just pick a date because they want to have a celebration. So perhaps we could celebrate something else.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Be a cheap enough fare, I'd imagine, too.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
wanted a lift on it.
Yeah,
You have to do a bit of work.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, well, let's have a piece of music. And this has got a Manx connection, of course. Play our Sunday smoothie this morning. And you've chosen a song from the Bee Gees.
Yeah,
Staffan.
why not? I mean, Bee Gees, they're big in the world, and I didn't know that they really came from the island.
Yeah, they're born
So,
here.
I think we should play them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
and,
deep is your love?
Yeah, that's a good choice.
There we are, the Bee Gees and How Deep Is Your Love. Good old Manx connection. And I suppose, did you only know that when you came to the island, Staffan?
I mean, Bee Gees has been,
Yeah.
should we say, a part of my life. I mean, not a big part, but that's, should we say, where I came from. But I mean, I didn't knew that they came from here.
Yeah.
When I first heard them, I thought they were Americans or something like that. That's what you think mostly, that Americans or British or whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any idea at all. Were they not from Peel or? Was it Douglas?
Douglas, I think it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be corrected if it's wrong. Anyway,
Yeah.
But that's that we're just talking about that extraordinary story. It's just a little sort of clip about the Isle of Man, really, isn't it? And
Yeah.
John Rhys Davis, a wonderful man,
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
gentleman.
it's a very good voice.
Yeah, and he narrates it through it, and it shows a bit of it in the short time that it can, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I guess it's going to be used, like you say, a way to get people to come to the island, experience the island in different ways, and it shows a very nice footage of, should we say, the Peel Castle and the nature and all that.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Have you been to every part of the island now?
No, I'm very surprised really, because I've been here.
It takes so long to get round it, you know.
Yeah, but
You're getting the Manx sort of way about, well, there's Treadaloo, there's time
Yeah,
enough
try to
to
do,
get
yeah, but I'm still, should we say, coming to new places which I've never been before.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. And I was down at Lagnakilia yesterday,
Yes.
and I was there a year ago, something like that, but it was in a different time of the year, so it looks very different. And I think you can go to the same place many times because it always looks different.
Yeah, there's the fern and the bracken, because that's out on the west
there's
side.
a lot of
isn't it?
fern.
Yeah.
And a lot of ticks as well.
Got a special tool at home that gets ticks out easily.
Yeah.
If you ever want to borrow it.
No, I've never heard about
I'll
it.
tell you about that
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
Okay, the bank holidays and things, big part of the Isle of Man as well. And whether people celebrate our own traditional bank holidays for all of them for the right reasons, I'm not sure.
I'm not really sure, but I think it could be worthwhile, should we say, when you have holidays, you can name them as, should we say, you can have a Hop Tourney holiday and a E. Bolden holiday and so on. I remember from North Territories in Australia, they have a holiday called Picnic Day, for reasons I don't really remember. But it sounds nice, isn't it? Picnic Day, you go for a picnic on that holiday.
Yeah, Tinwell Day, of course.
Yeah,
Lair
Tinwell Day,
Tinwell,
yeah, Lair Tinwell.
Tinville, Lair Tinville. I mean, have you been there many times?
Yeah. Not many times, but I've been there.
Yeah. And how does that sort of, is that a high rate one? Did you feel sort of unique because you made your home here in the Isle of Man, that is something special and unique to the island that day?
Yeah, absolutely. That feels like, I think it's very important to say that you should talk about Isle of Man as in we. We will do that, not they and so on. So it feels like you would say my holiday, my day, the Tinwell Day.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a really good one, and I must admit, for years I went when I was at school sort of times, with the schools and things, and then I didn't go for a few years, and then I thought, you know what, why shouldn't I go to our own sort of national day and listen to the laws promulgated in English and in Manx, you know?
Yeah.
Sort of become a bit more part of my life as I got older.
Yeah, but it's not only, should we say, that part. It's also, should we say, everything that goes around. Like, you have all the small tents and huts and everything. You have the Viking village, and you have the international village, and you have all kinds of different kinds of associations and groups having their, should we say, possibilities to say what they want, like the Bat Society or Victorian Society, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's nice.
Yeah, okay. Right, we've still got 35 minutes or so to go on this morning's programme between now and 12 o'clock. Our special guest on Moghrey Jedoonee this morning, Staffan Overgaard, who has come to the island 7 or 8 years ago now and learnt Manx language as well. Got the GCSE in it, haven't you, as well?
I'm not taking the test, the Scrutinach yet.
No.
Actually, I don't know when it is. So please let me know, Peder, when it is.
Yeah.
But hopefully I will pass. And but should we say, in my age, I'm 62 now, so the test doesn't choose. That's not the most important part. The most important part is to learn it, to learn the language. And whether I pass the test or not,
It's irrelevant.
That's not relevant, really.
Yeah.
That shows the most important part is to learn different words and whatever.
Feel a bit of self-satisfaction in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely. All right. You certainly can indeed. So there's a lot more than people realise on Manx Radio's website. Let me tell you that for nothing. Staffan Overgaard, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the programme this morning. And one thing that we spoke about earlier was an interesting fact I've never really thought about before, is that we don't really call the Isle of Man our country, really, a lot.
No,
of the time,
that
do we?
was. I realized that half a year ago. I mean, after about being here 5-6 years, that no one calls Isle of Man a country for some reason. It's always about the island, my island, which is not wrong. I mean, there are a lot of water around it, so obviously it's an island. And then I checked with, I mean, like Kurdistan, they call themselves a country, even though they don't really have one, because their country is occupied by other countries. And you have the Faroe Island, which have a very similar situation as Isle of Man. They have, I mean, instead of the UK, they have Denmark instead, and they can make their own rules, and they have the Viking heritage and so on. But they call themselves a country. But for some reason, Isle of Man does not. I don't know why. What do you think?
I don't know the reason why. We're sort of we're quick enough to say as Manx that we're not English.
No.
So we'd like to keep that uniqueness there, but I suppose it's the protection of our island. I suppose because we're surrounded by the sea.
Yeah.
We feel a bit, that we're a bit unique, I suppose.
But Iceland is also surrounded by the sea, and it's still a country. But perhaps it's that the way, I mean, you have to say independent and autonomous country or whatever. That could be the one why it mixed up with them calling it a country. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm Manx completely, and I don't really call it our country.
No.
But
I mean, England, is that a country?
Well, I don't know. We don't get into the politics.
No, I don't know really. It's not really politics. It's got kind of a language, should we say, phenomenon that I'm thinking about. But anyhow.
Yeah, I suppose with a lot of the traditionalists here who follow the traditional music, the Celtic music side of things, where they'll have a very close tie with Scotland and Ireland, even the Breton, in the parts of France and stuff. So I suppose that there's the link there. So whether they still talk about our country, I don't know.
I don't know really, but at least Tuesday I'm at the nation station at the moment, so that's
yes,
that's how far we can go, isn't it?
It is. Well, we're going to talk more. We've got this to take first, though, and then we're going to have a second of our Manx tracks very shortly. Indeed, 25 to 12. Back to the programme, 21 minutes before 12 o'clock. And Staffan, you've made you talk about the language we have been and the Celtic music, but you've put a lot of time and energy, I think, to helping out the culture of the island, haven't you? You wanted to get involved in that.
Yeah, I engaged myself in a Russian Heritage Trust, and that's been very nice, really, because it's easy to understand a heritage, a culture, when you have other people doing the same work, really.
Yeah.
And I'm sharing a group of the Russian Heritage Trust, and anyone interested to, I think, coming back to the trust again, I mean, I think most people should join a Heritage Trust. I mean, wherever you are on the island, or a country, or whatever we could call it.
Yeah.
If you're in the south, please, should we say, check out the Russian Heritage Trust, and up in the north, I'm sure there's one in Balaf, and there's one in perhaps
Michael.
Derby, or
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyhow, I joined the Russian Heritage Trust, and I'm taking care of a group called Store of the Land, and we're doing a book of Port St. Mary at the moment.
Yeah.
That will be launched about in spring 2019. And we have another group, should we say, doing a book about, there's been a lot of books this time, about interment. It's coming out in November,
Yeah.
and which is, I think it's going to be very interesting to read about interment in Port St. Mary and Port Erin.
But it's a good way of even helping you with languages, isn't it, as well? We learn different words and what their meanings were.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not really sure if I knew interment, the word interment, before I came to the island, really. Because interment has been, I mean, it's been internment camps in many countries, but they've been kind of kept secret, and people didn't want to speak about them. But here it's openly discussed, and they're writing books about them and having exhibitions and so on. So I think that's kind of interesting, I think.
Yeah. And does that take up a lot of your time, or is it an enjoyable way of spending
It is
your
an
time?
enjoyable way, and it's a nice way to meet people as well. And we also started up a few years about a new technology to do walks on Isle of Man with information on the walks. So we have a few walks in the south where you can get information on your phone, and you download an app, and then that information pops out when you get to a certain place on the track or on the path, with the help of a beacon that opens up the information.
Yeah.
And that has been, should we say, kind of successful, and we're still, should we say, starting to improve the software during this month, and we will probably launch it in the next month to come.
And does it surprise you what things you find out when you dig deep into some of the history of the parishes and villages and towns on the island?
Yeah, for me, it's true to say, like, it's a big, should we say, big news to say. But for many people who've been working with this heritage for a long time, that they've not, should we say, not really surprised about the amount of, should we say, information which is available. And you don't have to, should we say, be a fanatic about the heritage to join. It's just like a way to support, should we say, the local heritage, the local culture, in one way. So in the south we have, in the Russian Heritage Trust, we have called Russian Heritage Friends. So you pay £1 per month, and then you get, you say, a membership of being the friend of the Russian Heritage Trust.
Right, okay. Fascinating stuff. We've still got bits and pieces to talk about between now and 12 o'clock. Time's rapidly moving on. Things have been going quick this morning. I've been really enjoying it and fascinating this morning to get a different perspective on it and the way that you've adapted into the Manx culture. So we've got a little bit more to talk about. We're going to have the second of our Manx tracks this morning. And a lovely lady who was in on the programme a few weeks ago now, Ruth Kegan, Staffan.
Yeah.
And she's formed a band called A Nish now. They've got a new album out, Red Napoleon, The Way of the Gull. So we're going to have a track from that now. Ruth Kegan with the band and Nish from the album called Red Napoleon, or Way of the Gull, and that track there, track 9 on the album, Boblabad. So there we are. That was a nice bit of mix of that one, Staffan.
Yeah, I was on the Radnor Fallen yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's a good way.
The whole lap.
No. No, that was only, should we say, from Lagnakillian. From Eire Ash, what's the name of? Yeah, Lagnakillian down there.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to mention, words that that no one uses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any words that you know in Manx that you think people should be using more?
All right, yeah. That's the interesting thing about, you say, the way we are blending in words. Like you're starting up here with Mormai and Kistau and so on. Do you do that, should we say, in your normal personal life as well? Or?
Well, I'm married to a Czech girl, so
sometimes
it's Dobrorano.
But if you go to the co-op, I don't think there are any Czech girls at the co-op. Do you say Guramai or something like that for when you get in there?
People don't really. I mean, it's nice to see some of the shops have the forslet and all on the door thing, open and close and things.
Hopefully, but open is nicer.
Yeah, but not to hear it so much. You don't hear many people. You get it if it's, I suppose, old Cretney's Moocher's Market or something. If he was in there, you might get a lot of my.
I don't use it. Perhaps I should. I mean, perhaps we should go out there and say more Mai and Faster Mai in the mornings or afternoons. Just to, or perhaps Guramai or perhaps Jindasach now and then.
Yeah.
How about that?
The wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of my favourite words, that one in Manx.
And also there's a lot of words connected to the weather, because I think weather has been very important for people who live there and people who are living here, because I mean the sea is kind of, should we say, could be a very dangerous and also a very nice place at the same time. Perhaps not at the same time, but so I mean I was reading in the news and Shirim dry, and that means that I have to go out water my plants, and Brau good, and yes, Greenach. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear in a weather forecast, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's funny, and I've mentioned it several times on the program in the past, that when I was a young fella in primary school, we got an old. There was no Manx then, really, just an odd little group, and nobody knew any. There was none taught in the schools again, so we missed out, really. But I remember us getting a Manx T-shirt, a Manx tea towel, and it had, the pigsty, Moghrey, and bits and pieces of Manx and little pictures of them,
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of, weather-related terms in Manx, which I don't know, but I knew a few. But if you really write it down, I think there are so many. I remember when I was a child, I lived up in the north of Sweden, and I wrote down about 20 or 25 or 30 words which connected to snow, different kinds of snow, how to say snow in Swedish in such a different ways. And I'm sure they're the same down here, where you can say perhaps bad weather or good weather or rain, or different kinds of rain types or whatever. I don't know.
Schniakte, isn't it?
Schniakte, yeah.
And snie is snee in Czech as well, so it's got a similar.
It's
I don't know what it is in Swedish.
Snee in Norwegian and snö in Swedish, and it's the same background, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever it came from.
Snow is snow.
Yes, snow is snow, but it's not always white.
No. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our 2 hours on Moghrey Jedoonee this morning, Staffan.
It's interesting because I've never been into a studio like this, and I realize it's more than just two people speaking. It's a lot of working with music and finding things and putting commercials the right timing and so on. I'm impressed to see what you've been doing here. You have how many screens have you in front of you? 5
screens.
of them. Yeah. I don't know how many you work with, but
you use them all.
You use them all, all right.
Yeah, I have done today.
Yeah.
But it's been fascinating getting the points of view of, somebody brought up in Sweden, of course, and moved around different places of the world, confused, I suppose, with different languages when you were younger, and then finally moving to the Isle of Man and making your home and learning Manx.
Yeah, and if I have a few seconds left, I think when I came, it was one strange thing, because when I when I'm out walking in Port Erin, I'm getting to know, should we say, people's faces and people's, and I'm not really used to see, should we say, recognize people. I mean, when you're living in a big city, you don't do that. When in a small place, you recognize people, even though you don't recognize them by name, you recognize them by face. And that's kind of fascinating. But I like it a way.
Yes.
Because then you kind of a big lochtai, a big family.
And people don't turn their back and look the other way when you say good morning.
No,
to them.
that's right.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been fascinating having you on the programme, as I said, and thanks very much for coming in. And in the future, hopefully we'll get you back to see how you're getting on with it all.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for having me here.
That's okay. Thank you. Staffan Overgaard, our guest on Moghrey Jedoonee this morning.